Hello and welcome to the latest MSC Performance Podcast with myself, Mark Coulson, and today I'm joined by Luke Rogers and Mr. Max Craven, the first podcast we've done as a trio. This is season 4, episode 15, and today we are very much looking forward to having a bit of a catch-up, seeing what's going on the gym floor, latest news and latest events at MSC Performance, and then a couple of little diversions into some different topics. So, Max, how does it feel to be given the call up to be on the podcast with myself and Luke, seasoned professionals?
Absolutely honoured. It obviously took a lot of convincing to try and get on, but finally you guys have obviously let me here. A lot of bribing. I think I've paid quite a lot of money to be here. But, yeah, very
You'll
excited.
get that back in Spotify royalties from all the listeners. It pays for itself.
So yeah, excited to talk, have a catch up about everything, and yeah, dive into some interesting topics.
Fantastic. And Luke, we did a nice little podcast with Joe Matthews last week, and had some good feedback on that, wasn't it? It was a good little learning day for myself, I think.
Well, sometimes you need reminding that you shouldn't masturbate, or actually that you can masturbate the day before a game. So, yeah, it's good to remember that, and good to hear it again.
It's nice to know you've picked up a key bit from the podcast.
Yeah,
but I thought it was excellent. Actually, I thought it was like really well rounded. Like there was something for everyone: team sport, strength sports, general populations, people that were looking to train better, but also like just people that wanted to be healthier. I think it answered quite a lot of questions that a lot of people ask or want to ask but never ask. And it was quite like the one about like not overusing meal replacement shakes and supplements and the psychological underpinnings of why that might be a thing. Like stuff like that's really interesting to me, because like in theory the liquid meal or the meal replacement is exactly the same as what you're getting in a normal meal. So like why is it worse? And when you're talking about like the underpinning of that, of the psychological impairments of just drinking liquid calories, it's really interesting to me. So that was cool. I think it was a good podcast.
I enjoyed that bit as well, actually, because like you say, getting, with, it's just such a common question that comes up, isn't it? Like supplements, what supplements should be having and stuff like this. And it's like, as we know, it's often the questions coming from people who aren't doing the bread and butter, the basics of, training regularly, training well, consistent. But like you say, the finer details of that, where it's like, okay, let's take, I don't know, like Huel's a big one at the moment, where it's like, right, it's a meal replacement. It's got everything you need and things like that. So, like you say, why can't you just drink that over food? And I found like the psychological element and also physiological, like about the feeling, of being actually full and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, like that meal replacement, shake can become, I think, like I alluded to in the podcast, like, you're having one of those and it's got all the calories and all the nutrients you need, but then for whatever reason, physiologically, psychologically, you're still a bit hungry afterwards, and then like you're eating another meal or you're eating a pack of biscuits or something like that, and all of a sudden you're doubling your calories essentially. So that was interesting.
I also think it's like it's really good as well. Everything kind of comes in these waves and the pendulum swinging, and it went very much like if it fits your macros 5-10 years ago, and everyone's like, it doesn't matter what you're eating as long as you're eating your set calories. And it kind of came away from health, and it was just about calories and aesthetics. And like Joe alluded to, there's like a gram of carbs from sweets versus a gram of carbs from like, I don't know, vegetables is completely different. But the swing back now to health is a really, really good thing. And
I'm really pleased with that, because that's been like bugging me for the last few years.
I remember we spoke about if it's your macros, and you was like, Luke, there's no way that this is, and not even from like a weight management perspective, but from a health perspective, it's obviously going to be worse.
Yes, it got to a stage where it was literally, probably a couple of like influencers in particular on social media have done some like really good stuff, but one specifically who's just like, just stressing the importance, like talking like the only thing that matters is calories, and it's like, it doesn't matter if it's from this and that, and it's like, it does matter. It got to such a stage where it was like, as long as you're if you're trying to lose weight, as long as you're in a slight deficit, or if you're trying to put on weight, you're slight surplus, then it doesn't matter what you're eating. And it's like, and like you say, I remember us having a conversation over years of like, it's getting this, like with most things in the game, it goes too far. So we've got to find that balance. So yeah, it's good that I enjoyed that part of it as well. And like you say, you know, hopefully we start to, you know, pull it back a little bit, being a bit less dramatic with like
the less dramatic
calories.
The less dramatic thing is what he talks about, the 80-20 rule, which everyone talks about, which is like, 4 out of 5 days or 4 out of 5 meals that you're eating like really good, but then you're still allowing yourself that treat, and that's the sustainability element of the eating. But it's not gone so far that you're just disregarding health and eating good quality foods for the sake of just getting the calories in. And I think allowing yourself the little treats or whatever you want to have, like if you're going out with friends, go and have a bloody pizza, but you shouldn't be having a pizza as your post-workout meal every day, even if you need 700 calories, you have half a pizza.
Yeah. When you go out with people who aren't in the industry and they're like, oh my God, you're eating a pizza, or you're having a dessert.
That's the worst. Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, don't just eat chicken and broccoli. Like, yeah. I went to a networking thing like a few weeks ago, and it was like, yeah, so what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and this one and that. Obviously, you mean a PT? Yeah, PT.
Yeah.
And it's like, chicken and broccoli. Like the chicken and broccoli gag started coming out, and I'm like, wow, yeah. So the sustainability is important. You see that with like, you know, even people who are massively into training and take it very seriously. Like, let's take a bodybuilding or figure competitor as an example of like, hardcore dieting where they are literally chicken and broccoli or whatever up until the comp, and then what's the first thing they want to do after comp is like a indulgement, like mad binge, and that's like a kind of small example of like, if you take an everyday person, they're trying to go down the chicken and broccoli route for a week or something like that, or 2 weeks or a month. It's just not gonna. It's not going to be sustainable.
I also find, and it's completely anecdotally, but like when we went for food last Friday or Saturday, sorry, and like you had a pizza and a dessert, I had whatever I wanted to eat and a dessert, and like people look, and then there'll be people that are like, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, like might be more overweight and not making as good nutrition decisions all the time, and then when they go out, they'll make like a healthier choice, and then it'll look. I know that's completely anecdotal, but like. When I go out with people that don't like particularly enjoy training or don't particularly track what they're eating, they'll go out and they'll make like a healthy option, but like, oh yeah, I'm really good. But then the majority of the other time, they're eating like crap, or like they're eating okay meals, but then lots of crap on top of it. But then like because we're making conscious efforts 6 out of 7 days a week, when we go out, we'll just have what we want. And I know that's completely anecdotal and it's not thingy, but I've seen that loads.
Yeah. It's true. I want to impress me there with it. I'm having a salad.
Yeah, today I've Hockey Social. I've had the chicken. I've asked them to hold the voice because I'm being healthy. And it's But if you are like, the bulk of the time being conscious with your decisions while still enjoying yourself, then there is the room to have the meal that you want to have, and that's what Joe's point was, wasn't it, as well? So
yeah, and I really like that. Yeah,
good podcast.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. In terms of on the subject of sustainability of nutrition, what are the key things that you guys think that enable you to be sustainable with your own training?
With regards to nutrition and stuff.
In regards more to training rather than nutrition.
So I think for I do powerlifting, so obviously it's not a very varied sport by definition. I think for a lot of people, when you talk about like the individuality of training programs, a lot of people think that's going to be like, okay, so I've come in, 2 people come in and one person's got 20 different exercises, the other person's got 20 different exercises, and the rep schemes are completely different. For the bulk of people, they're doing very similar rep schemes, very similar exercises. That's not the individuality of training. I think the individuality comes down to how much kind of little variations you need and little nuance differences. So like for myself, I don't need that much variation. But if I feel like I need a little bit of variability, I'll kind of just put in little slots of like what I think doesn't particularly matter. So like I've done my deadlifts or whatever, then it'll be like a row of choice. And that gives me enough variation in there to still enjoy trying to push something a little bit different if I feel like I want to. So I think like a lot of people, to try and get that sustainability of training, it's choosing a level of variation within that's going to help you find enjoyment in the training. And some people like doing the same thing, like Naz, who I've trained for years, like she loves doing the same program over and over again. We make very, very little changes, if any, because she loves it.
Yeah.
But on the flip, you might get someone saying, after 3 weeks, Luke, I'm really bored of doing one-arm rolls. Can we change something out? So I think like allowing variation within that, especially if it's not something that, like, I have to do deadlifts, but I don't have to do one arm rolls. I might think they're beneficial, but I don't have to. So I think finding that little bit of variation within that training can help the sustainability and the enjoyment factor, especially like early doors.
Enjoyment's the key word there, isn't it? I think, like, in terms of, trying to, whatever it is in life that you're trying to achieve and trying to do, you set that goal, you have to enjoy the journey, generally speaking, unless it's like, you've got 6 weeks to, like, I don't know, get an exam done that you need to get done, or, you've got a very short-term target, then you can go boot camp style and put yourself through, a bit of a miserable time and get to the goal. But I think in terms of, like, long-term development, long-term sustainability, which is obviously a big thing that we encourage down at MSC, rather than like 6-week, 12-week transformations, is enjoying the journey. And I think it's why we place such an emphasis on that, both in the training and the socials at MSC and things like that. I just think that's massive. And the other thing's probably coaching, where you've not said the word coaching, but, like, just you with Naz, you've said there that, like, I hope she doesn't mind us using her name, but
she loves it. She was showing her friends.
Oh, lovely. Hello Naz. Hello Naz. And with Naz, obviously, like you say, she enjoys doing a very repetitive program, the same sort of things over and over again, and that's the job of, that's where, or one of the areas where you come in very handy for her, like as a coach. And you've got to know, with her, there's, you're working, a very small amount of exercises year round, whereas I'm sure you've got someone else who probably springs to mind that needs a lot of variation, and wants that kind of rotation of.
I often find, like,
weeks.
the younger people that come through. Like, I coach at the minute a couple of, like, 16-year-olds, and, like, after, like, 2 weeks, like, really want to try something else instead of lat pull down. Yeah. So, like, now I find myself more and more for, like, young people like that, just put in vertical pull of choice.
Get a bit older, what you like.
Yeah. I don't want to do one arm rows.
As long as you've got that basis of the fundamental movement, you can vary a little bit.
It's like,
make it more exciting.
You have to be doing deadlift if you want to get good at deadlift as well.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you're doing weird delta of choice.
It's a lot. So for me, just on that individual kind of side. So with regards to my training, because I obviously play rugby, but I'm more into sort of CrossFit kind of thing. And what's fun for me, which is probably you would hate this kind of stuff because you like having your deadlift, squat and bench, but I can come into a session, and they are structured sessions, but I'll have so many different movements that I need to do. So that's what makes it a lot more fun for me, because I'll have, like, Olympic lifts, I'll have basic compound movements, I'll have gymnastic movements, I'll have cardio of some sort. So it makes it fun for me in that sense. I can come in and be like, right, what am I doing today? Handstand walks, I'm doing skis, I'm doing something like that, which is very fun and it suits my kind of training. But obviously for powerlifting side,
you've got that, like, exercise tombola, haven't you? Where you go,
what am I doing today?
Ski erg, 4 sets of 8. What the does that mean? I guess as well, from a sustainability perspective, you have to train because you've obviously got your washing machine down there. So
I've got to,
every time you do a clothes wash, you may as well do some kind of squat.
So I'm actually supersetting at the moment. I obviously do my squats and I'm doing my washing as well. As we said, I'm going to open up a business where I have clients in the gym and they bring their washing with them so they can do their washing.
Your mum's on in the clothes as you finish in the workout.
It's a great shout.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. You can definitely see like the attraction of one of the attractions of CrossFit is that variability, and like the emphasis on being well-rounded and being able to do gymnastics work, be strong, do the Olympic lifts, have a good aerobic base. Like, it's quite attractive.
Yeah, technique does always underpin it though. So there's a lot of views that come in that see people doing like terrible technique on certain things, whereas like CrossFit, it is underpinned with like good movement and good healthy movements on everything first. So like if you want to do Olympic lifts, you've got to make sure you've got good movement before you can do it like under fatigue or under a certain amount of reps, because like if you are doing these complicated movements under a certain amount of load, you are going to pick up injuries in the long run. So it is making sure that you have got a good base of movement first before you get into the high rep kind of stuff.
I often think with stuff like this, CrossFit gets a bad rap because you watch the bottom like 10% of CrossFitters. If you went and watch the bottom 10% of anything, it looks terrible. The bottom 10% of powerlifting looks disgusting. The bottom 10% of weightlifting, of rugby, all looks terrible. Bodybuilding, if you go to a bodybuilding gym at 6 p.m. and have a look at people training, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And you don't see the the top guys or the middle guys that are getting good coaching. You watch the guys that are getting no coaching just trying to do Olympic lifts. It looks disgusting. But if you get to a bodybuilding gym, it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah,
like people train terribly at the bottom end, and that's just everything.
Yeah,
and you can't judge the whole overarching concept of CrossFit by the bottom 10% that aren't getting coached or coached well, and they're just doing like bastardized movements of everything.
Yeah. A lot of people judge CrossFit off like that one video,
the CrossFit fail videos.
Yeah, people
time.
like doing crazy kicking pull-ups.
But they forget about the bodybuilder guy doing a fucking bicep curl and whacking his fish tank, and the fish just falls out. And bodybuilding's great. Yeah,
getting on a chest press machine and doing some crazy isolation movements.
So I think the bottom 10% of everything's terrible.
Talking about technique and underpinning technique and the Olympic lifts, like how have you sort of found watching? Obviously we've got the Indian weightlifting team down here, like just seeing some of those guys is
scary, isn't
pretty
it?
impressive.
It's just like the way they make weights look, it's just not it's not right, is it? The way that some of them can shift our working sets, which all of us will do for warm-ups, it's ridiculous. And seeing just the way they train, the way they warm up to things, how they're sort of structuring their training sessions, there's just so much interest in it all that you'll often find, won't you, in the gym, that people will be doing their sets and instead of resting now, they'll just watch them. I think they quite like having that audience there that sort of, they know that they're being watched, they know that they're sort of impressing them, which I think it comes in quite nicely to this whole community side of MSC, that they sort of know that people are admiring them quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, they'll get there anywhere they train, won't they? Like outside of their normal place. Like if they're in the training hall, they'll be training not with just weightlifters, they'll be training with like pole vaulters, sprinters who won't be lifting as well. They'll be watching it being like, wow, this is amazing. It's really cool to see.
It's just crazy athletes.
It's the volume of people for me, because obviously you've got like Jazz and like we've had like we've had a couple of British champs that train down there, but it's the volume of like 10 people lifting that well at one time. You're like, it's pretty cool.
It is, yeah. What about you?
I agree with Luke's point there. Like, it's like, obviously had Jazz here for years, who's in that bracket, at least. But he's kind of lifting by himself, and I think you're right when you see like 3 or 4 of them lifting at the same time. It's kind of emphasises it a little bit more, doesn't it? But just to see the amount of weight that they're shifting and the speed in which they're lifting at. It's like, I always like watching kind of gymnastics and stuff that like I'm not very good at, because I just like find it hard to fathom how you can do like certain things. And like Olympic lifting, obviously I can do it, and like have done okay in it in the past, like just messing around. But like the level these guys are at, I'm like,
makes you appreciate it more when you've sort of taken part in it. Like, as you say, with gymnastics, because none of us would be gymnasts. I mean, I think I've seen you do a couple of gymnastics.
I did that handstand press up.
I
did a headstand to press up.
Yeah, so you'll have more appreciation. But I think when you, as you say, when you take part in the category or the sport that people are doing, you have much more appreciation when they are lifting, or like lifting at such more of an elite level that you have actually ever got to.
Yeah. Do you remember that post that went around? It said like at the Olympics there should be like a normal person doing the sport right next to it.
Just to put into
like when you see the 100-meter sprint and then you got like someone doing it in 16 seconds.
Next to.
Imagine the weightlifting. You're like, right, you're going to try and chuck this bar off your head.
Yeah.
These are doing 130 and you got like the bar like pressing out like.
That's brilliant. I do actually in flip flops as well.
The diving. Like an elbow.
The technique's so consistent as well. That's what I've noticed. Is like just as you'd expect. It's the sport obviously, but the technique's so consistent.
I love watching their stretching sessions at the end.
Yeah,
it's very raunchy.
Raunchy.
But like they're folding up into some like mad end positions.
Yeah, and I've seen you try and stretch.
You're like trying to touch my toes in the corner, getting ready for
your current self-imposed baggies.
So be right back.
I'll tell you what other, obviously Commonwealth Games coming up in Birmingham, our home city. I feel like I can just about call it my home city now. I've lived there a long time. What kind of sports are you looking forward to watching? And also, here's one. Who out of all those sports, who would you love to see like doing S&C at MSC?
I've got tickets to go and watch the weightlifting. I've got 2 weightlifting ones. I've got jazz and then another one. I've got tickets for the basketball. And
the 3-on-3 or the 5?
3-on-3.
Wow, yeah, half court.
Yeah. And I've also got tickets for the volleyball, which should be good.
The beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball. Yeah. 2 women's games, 2 men's games. So I tried not to put into the gender pay gap of supporting the women that get paid more, but it was just how the tickets fell, unfortunately.
Of course, yeah.
Luck of the draw.
Didn't ever say.
So which athlete would you like to see the most? Like out of the Commonwealth Games, which one would you like to see? Like who are you most excited to see if there is an athlete, or in Olympics in general, or sport, or that kind of environment?
For me, it's any like the power-based stuff, so like any of the throwers, any of the jumpers. Probably like when you hear some of the stories of like the shot putters or like doing like the Olympic lifts to such a high standard. Something like that would be really cool to watch.
Yeah.
That sprinters, throwers, or jumpers probably.
I think
the ones
sprinters is the obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, imagine seeing like old Usain in it, like box jumping or something like that, just to see. That'd be something to see.
We had an elite sprinter down here once a few years ago. The Chinese athlete Su Biltang, I think.
Biltang, yeah.
And
first guy to 110 in China.
Yeah. First sub 10.
Yeah.
Second 100 meters. First Asian man ever to do that. And I think the 5th fastest 60-meter runner of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, and he came down for a session. It was so random. Like his coach just literally rang us, this American chap, and was like, "Oh, I've got this athlete. Like, he's
all right. Yeah,
he's competing down the road. Like, there's me thinking he's like
Alexander
Thursfield
Stadium.
Harriers, and he's rocks down, and I'm like, okay, ring like. The face looks familiar, I love watching athletics, but I'm not like absolutely hardcore where I know everyone. So it's like, the face rings a bell, and like I've got talking to the coach, and he's like, oh yeah, he's actually like this and that, and he's like, casually just saying like how good he is.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to watch him train. He said about the Olympic lifts and like, he's doing power. I think he was like, it was maybe the day before his race actually, so he's just doing a bit of a primer. It's like this power cleaning, like 110 kilo, like off the floor, and he's a very lean sprinter. He's not one of your bigger sprinters.
Yeah.
And it was a very like cash session, but like when he was on, and it was just like that explosiveness.
They have a different mindset, don't they?
100%.
I'll tell you what kind of athlete I'd love to see, like a decathlete or something like that. See how they train. Yeah, because they have such a variety of things they need to be prepared for. I wonder how they'd structure their training, because they've just got to get through so much different variety, haven't they? Really, I know the basis of it is running, jumping. What are the?
There's a couple of throwing.
Is there a couple of throwing things?
Yeah, it's like 400 or 800, isn't it?
Yeah, they'd have to do so much different.
Got to be monsters.
Yeah.
I'd
love to give that a go. Should we do that? An MSC decathlon day.
We'll speak to
That's a great show for like a Metcon Games. Like we could call it the MSC Decathlon. You could have like a multitude of different. The 400-meter run around the block.
throwing the bar around the track.
For the med ball, shot put med ball.
Yeah.
Trap bar. Oh mate, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Metcon Decathlon.
How can we do that? How can we do the long jump? We could do that onto the.
Maybe we'll put some sand out there.
We'll use the sand
jumping pit. Going slightly off bit, so I always think like MMA guys are really interesting as well.
Yeah.
I actually have no interest in watching it, and like, it just doesn't do it for me at all watching it. But like I admire the athletes, because it's like there's so many skills that they need to practice.
Loads, isn't there?
And like we've worked with 1 or 2 here before, and it's like shit, man. Like they've got you might squeeze in 2 S&C sessions a week, but like alongside that is like the boxing coaching, the wrestling coaching, like the jiu-jitsu work. It's a lot. Like those guys earn the money, that's for sure. And you go in one-on-one in a cage. There's no hiding place. It's not like on the rugby pitch, you hiding behind me and letting me do the tackles. Like it's
sacrificing his arm every fucking 6 months.
Exactly, mate. Yeah.
Do you know when you talk about serious, we spoke earlier about the bottom 10% of MMA people in the gym is some of the work. So like we're doing 5-minute rounds because that's what you do in the sport. And it's like battle ropes, like bodyweight squats, and Yeah, it's not.
Let's get other Max on because he did a little bit of his was he doing jiu-jitsu or something like that?
Oh, he does a bit of jiu-jitsu.
He'd know all about that kind
He's
of
one of
stuff.
those 98% of strength conditioning coaches that does a bit of jiu-jitsu.
How much would you have to be paid to step? Do we know any big MMA fighters? Obviously, we know like McGregor and all of those.
Yeah, we've worked with one or two down here, like Chris Mears, springs to mind. Yeah,
how much would you have to be paid to like step in the ring and do like a 3-minute round with like a McGregor or one of the big boys?
I'd get knocked out for a mil.
A mil?
What? Get knocked out?
You just got to hope that ref doesn't...
You could actually die by
now. Mate.
You could.
Okay,
strike to the head.
If it was street and there was no ref and no rules, you couldn't pay me any money because like someone like McGregor or who mentioned Chris Mears, like he's come down here, would kill you.
Yeah, but let's say as soon as you KO, they're not going to go for extra.
Oh mate, I get KO'd on the rugby pitch on a weekly thing. So tenner.
Every got
dramas.
yeah,
I do it for a
get
good
that hat on. What's the hat? The rugby hat that you wear.
One of them hats. Yeah. I don't mind getting knocked out, but
what, 10 is a tenner, mate?
10 is a tenner.
Coffee ain't gonna buy itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Going back to the question of the Commonwealth Games. What about you, Max? Have you got any tickets? Are you? If you do, you need to book that time off work now.
I don't have any tickets.
Athletes, what sports are you looking forward to watching on the telly then? What athletes, what sports team would you have down here training that you'd like to watch?
I know this is biased, but I'm always...
Rugby
don't roll your eyes, yeah. But
He's more of a rugby nose than me, isn't he? That's saying something.
No, I'd obviously love to watch rugby sevens because I've been to some of the seven stuff when they were at Twickenham, like when they do the circuit, and just it's a nice environment to be in because it's not just obviously going to watch one game is good, but when you go to watch the seven, it's a whole day because you watch all of the group stages. Everyone's just warming up. It's like proper old school. Like everyone warms up on the side of the pitch in the dead ball area, and it's a whole day thing. And obviously the athletes in rugby are so fit. Like
the sevens guys.
You've done sevens, haven't you? And it is hard. It's hard work. Like I'd pay to see you have go at sevens.
Well, I was just thinking about it's a shame that the Commonwealth Games weren't closer to your house because otherwise you could have gone and watched it, couldn't you? I just wish it was more accessible.
Yeah.
It's about 20 quid. You're 10 minutes round the corner. Like, I really want to go and watch the sevens. It's still available now, man.
I'll have a look, mate.
Like sevens athletes, different gravy, yeah. And high level. Again, it comes down to that top 10% or bottom 10%. Like we're saying, watched a little bit of State Origin yesterday, like rugby league, and the Aussie guys there are just monsters, mate. Yeah. Aerobic animals, but also powerful. Psychologically lunatics. The way, it makes it makes Union look soft at that at that level. You have to watch the highlights, man. It's crazy. It's full good, and it's a little bit looser in terms of loose shoulders, the way you can tackle, you get away with a lot more.
They're more upright, aren't they?
Mate, it is car crash stuff. I played a season of rugby league a long time ago, and we'll talk about it another time.
Am I right in saying that more Americans play sevens? I seem to see a lot of videos of maybe people that didn't quite make the NFL then go to sevens, and there seem to be ridiculous sprinters in it.
They're good, aren't they? The US team are good in sevens,
yeah, they are. Just diving off topic a bit, this is something we obviously been talking about earlier. What would you say, I'm just going to put you on the spot, is sport-wise, what do you think is the most skillful sport out there? And then which sport do you think has the best all-round athletes? It's a very similar conversation that we were having earlier, weren't we? So best sport in terms of skill, best sport in terms of you've got to be the best athlete overall. Sent you there, haven't I?
Yeah.
On a black hole. I would say.
Well, your question earlier was football or rugby.
Yeah, but
which
now
requires more skill.
Yeah. Now I'd say I reckon skill-wise, maybe something like snooker or something.
I was going to say I was thinking
snooker's a great shout.
A diving or something like that, where it's really, really fine skills.
Yeah.
Snooker, man.
Snooker, that's a technical one. Have you had to go to snooker before?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've only got like
It's
20
hard.
20 points.
It's hard. Yeah.
If you pot a red and you go for a colour, you
Yeah.
never pot it. So
Yeah.
it's 1 point.
One. What gets me is like Ronnie O'Sullivan, who can play like almost equally as well off his left hand. Like, so you're talking about such a fine skill.
Yeah.
And then like to be able to do it on your other side, like shouldn't be possible.
Yeah. He does it mid-game, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You go, I can't get it there.
Yeah.
Lovely, yeah. So,
MSC Snooker Social.
I did like
Let's
snooker.
get it done.
it's good snookers, yeah.
Yeah.
So athletes then.
So you say
overall
snooker
athletes.
for skill.
Yeah.
Did
Best
you
athlete.
say snooker for skill?
Best athlete snooker players as well.
Yeah.
Or
Darts.
darts.
Yeah. Pint on the side.
Oh, I don't know. Best athletes.
For me, the athletes is you're looking at things that like the multiple qualities.
Yeah.
Strong,
High
powerful, aerobic.
Yeah.
So I think then you look like tennis players.
Do you think tennis?
I'm not saying exactly tennis, but something like
I think
tennis.
tennis players are unbelievable athletes.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest sports going because, like, the length of time they play for. The women don't play as long as games as the men, but like it's a long game. It's like the guys serving the top man 140 miles an hour, like top women 150, 120 miles an hour, like point after point after point, change direction, short, sharp,
A great example.
lateral, forward, back.
Djokovic's splits, that shot when he's like doing
Yeah.
full
that's
split. Yeah,
ridiculous,
Jesus
isn't it?
Christ.
That is,
The pace these guys are hitting the ball, so like the power and the strength to be able to like sustain, like and not break.
They'll still have that at the end of
And
the day.
then
won't they?
like, and they play so frequently as well.
Mhm.
Like it's like we've spoke about the basketball before, like
Yeah,
playing like
basketballs.
the next day,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I think tennis players are unbelievable athletes.
Yeah.
One of my friends yesterday shared the video of Djokovic doing the splits in that shot, and then he said that, and you powerlifters moan about doing your 20-second Copenhagen's and feeding pain.
Yeah.
It's so something like tennis or like a team sport like that. But
Yeah.
it's good.
I think like triathletes
They are, yeah.
would be up there at the top level, like in terms of athletic requirements.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it's very obviously heavy endurance based, but like still,
Still,
you got to go to some dark
gotta be an
places there,
athlete.
haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
I'm happy with
so hard.
tennis, to be fair. I think tennis is because you've got virtually all elements. Really.
I think
You've got
all
balance.
yeah.
And we're talking at top level, by the way. I mean,
Yeah,
anyone can go out and play a bit of tennis.
What, you mean the Harborne Tennis Club ladies that play in right now aren't the,
They're the top
ones-
10%.
Wilma and Helga, haven't they?
Yeah. It's there's levels in there. There's levels.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I think
don't know,
any
it'd be one of
team
those
sport,
probably-
mate, football, like again, like you see the miles that they're covering. Basketball is high
11,
level.
12k a game for
Yeah.
like Prem
Any
footballers,
team
yeah.
sport really. Like,
Yeah.
You could argue like American football, but then it's so specific,
Specialised,
it's
yeah.
so specialised. So
Yeah.
if you're talking about like, okay, American football versus like rugby as an example, an obvious example, like, in a lot of like, let's say, in testing environments, like American football guys would kill rugby guys. Like they're on a different planet.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
like the combine.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about the combine and things like that, like those kind of tests. But then you could also argue that rugby players are much better athletes because, okay, they've got to do everything, even if you're, whether you're a centre or a second row or back row. Like you were saying earlier, like you need to be able to have a wide range of skills, like skill set, and also like physiologically being like strong, powerful. Look at Burgoyne who just came in. Like he's a big boy, like 125, 130 kilos. He's got to go around the park for 80 minutes.
He can
And it's like that's whereas your NFL, if he was a defensive lineman or something in American football, chuck an
10 seconds.
chuck an extra 10 kilos on him and just say like your average plays 4 seconds, which is what it is in like NFL is 4 seconds. Like, mate, don't worry about ever touching the ball. Like you're gonna like get off the line, block, repeat. If you're a kicker, you never have to pass, tackle, anything like. Your job is to kick the ball. Like that's where I'd probably rule American football out of that. So a lot of people would say American footballers because they're like jacked and they're super powerful and super strong.
what I like now is like you're pushing like Berger into be like the best athlete, and then like you'll see him on a Saturday night like 10 pints down,
10 scoops,
10
and
proper bursts.
but yeah, he's
10 scoops and a Mackie D's, like gets rabbit.
Yeah.
Mitch would argue otherwise.
Maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah, true. But it's longer than 4 seconds, right?
It's longer.
So, difficult one. I think might be one of those where later on today I'll be training myself or something, and I'll think, it's got to be.
One of the questions we did have kind of around this now is like, what is the greatest moment in sporting history? What's the best moment in sporting history?
Jazz British champs 2019.
You always say
18 kilo jump.
It's all depending on the person, isn't it? First, like, because you obviously have that memory with Jazz. Let's say, like, everyone has different memories, like, of certain sporting events. It could be something that's overall passed like long ago, but like for me, I remember watching the 2005 Champions League. No, it's not actually rugby. The 2005 Champions League final, Liverpool. When they went 3-0
down. That's huge. Because for me, any of the greatest moments are like the big comebacks or the last minute upside, the buzzer beaters, anything like that. It's just like last second. Like even like when Man City won the league with that like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
David Beckham's free kick against Greece.
I remember that literally like it was yesterday. Like 2002, yeah.
I was 5.
You weren't even born.
Great.
I was watching that with my mate in the Shire, in the village. I still remember the buzz from that. And like straight after the game, we went down the park and just trying to like replicate that. Like kicking over old Mavis's garden, like, over the fence. But like, wow. Yeah, that was like an unbelievable game.
And that's what I mean.
And it's a 2-2 draw against Greece. I mean, it wasn't like the context was it was to qualify for the World Cup. Wasn't it?
It's all depending on what memories you got.
2003 Rugby World Cup.
Wilco dropping it,
That's got to be up there.
He did that powerlifting moments that are incredible.
Well, last World Champs, Jess Bretner needed to pull 260 at 76 bodyweight and pulled it. That was pretty good.
To be fair, on weightlifting, when Lasher's done all his weightlifting stuff, that's quite incredible because no one's lifted.
What about in the Hydrox? Any
Hydrox?
Any good sporting moments in there?
Yes, loads of sporting moments in Hydrox. Too many, I can't actually name.
Well, you got the last 2 years to go on, haven't you? So.
Hydrox and that one.
Federer, Nadal, 2008 Wimbledon final.
Good one, that.
Like that was. I don't know if you can call it a moment because it's a game, isn't it? Like if we're talking a moment, is it the drop goal from Johnny Wilson? Is it the
the Liverpool one was
Michael Jordan or whatever?
It wasn't one thing.
Like that game was like one of the best sporting matches I've ever seen. Like two gladiators going toe to toe on the battlefield in their prime. Like was just sporting greatness that like we lived through this period of like Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, like Messi, Ronaldo, like it's just these
Johnny
guys
Wilkinson,
who are just
Brown, Mike Brown.
I remember watching that tennis game because
it is a bit battered.
I think I remember watching that, and I just remember Nadal's left arm. It was just so wham. Like it was literally out here, and then the camera would pan to his right arm, and it was just tiny.
T-shirt's like a tent, like his arm. I used to wear the sleeveless, didn't he? Actually, I used to wear the sleeveless. How good did Nadal look back then? He's not aged well, has he? No. Like back then, like absolute specimen, good-looking bloke, long hair. Like he'd wear the headband, sleeveless.
One big arm.
One massive arm, more than I had.
When we went to Mallorca, we went to like one of the harbours where it said this, like Rafael Nadal's got a yacht here. Like looking around trying to find which one it was. There's one called the Left Arm. But like which one's Nadal's? Which one's Nadal's? And you presume it's going to be the biggest one, but
I think Federer is the best. I would say out of tennis athletes, I think Federer is my favourite.
Federer's my favourite. He's one of my favourite. Federer's probably in my top. I'm talking today like I'm a massive tennis fan. Like I don't know, it's probably like my third or fourth favourite sport. But like Federer is probably in my top 3. Definitely top 5 favourite athletes of all time.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Like just absolute like technical perfection and
So
brilliance.
This is the one thing when you're saying like the best. When you say athlete, I'm separating the skill from like. So for me, like Cristiano Ronaldo's a better athlete than Messi, but Messi might be a better footballer.
Yes.
So like you could say Nadal's a better athlete than Federer, but Federer arguably is the better tennis player.
It's that whole talent versus like hard work debate, isn't it? The Ronaldo is very much he's obviously put in the hard work.
Well, Messi apparently does no S&C. He doesn't want to lift weights.
Pure talent.
He's just like ridiculously skillful at the sport, really fit. Obviously, I'm not saying he's a terrible athlete, but I'm saying like Ronaldo.
He's fast as well, mate. Like I've been lucky enough to see him live at Camp Nou a few years back, and like to see one of the best to ever do it. I mean, like it blew my mind how quick he is actually. Yeah. Like over 5 meters, 5-10 meters.
Yeah.
He's rapid. Like you talk about Messi, you don't talk about speed. Like, it's not one of the first things that comes up. And this was not that long. I mean, probably 5 years ago, so it was like 30.
Yeah.
So it might have even dropped off a little bit, but like, man, he was rapid.
Still have the
and as quick with the ball than without it.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And that's the difference,
He is a ridiculous athlete, Yeah. Any other sporting moments, would you say?
We were speaking earlier, and again, I don't think it's the thing, but there's the big. I quite liked it when Tyson Fury got knocked out.
Yeah,
was it Wilder?
It was Wilder.
Yeah.
When he had that,
he's like sparked
realisation.
out, and then he gets up, and like the story behind that's amazing, and like the comeback on that's amazing. I think it inspired loads of people, especially like working class people. Really inspired them. I'm not saying it's one of the greatest moments, but something along them lines for me always is like phenomenal.
Something that had some like wider meaning and influence.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And when you see Wilder's face, when he he does that dance, doesn't he? That little shimmy. And he looks over his corner, over his shoulder, and he sees him get up. I think on that topic, there's one clip. I don't know how true it is. It was on TikTok, so it's obviously true.
Doing your research for the podcast, aren't you, tickets?
But there was a clip of a weightlifter who.
The German guy.
Yeah, and
his wife died.
His wife died quite recently.
That's true.
He
put the picture down.
And I remember watching it, and I actually got like a little bit like not teary, but I was like,
mate, absolutely did it. I've got it saved. Like, if I ever need motivation, I've got a few videos I go to. That's one of the videos I've got saved on like Instagram to watch it, to be like a bit of a boost when you do. Quality.
I love that kind of
great to see someone come back from the abyss like that. And how easy and forgivable would it be to just be like, just throw it. Just to throw in the towel and be like, that's, but we've got an idea of how hard it is for elite guys to like make the top, but to do that with all those external factors is pretty amazing. Isn't it? Love a good story like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've had your fair few.
Well, I don't like to talk about it, but I mean, like, a few comebacks over the years, mate. And
are we going to be seeing one more?
Are we going to be seeing one more? That's to be decided. Decided. Yeah, training at the moment, doing pre-season, and we'll see. We're gonna we'll leave it till the 11th hour, I think.
Fair enough.
We'll see what happens.
We had another question, which was, what is your favourite / most inspirational sports film?
Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Coach Carter.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro. What a film. What an Talladega Nights.
Longest yard.
Longest yard.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Have you seen the new Adam Sandler film, Hustle?
Hustle's good.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, it's very Coach Carter.
It reminds me of Rocky Balboa, like running up that hill, and have you seen it? You'll love it. The Hustle.
No,
it's just come out on Netflix.
No,
it's good.
It is very Coach Carter.
If you're into sport and basketball,
I love Moneyball. Have you seen that?
That's very good. That one. Have you seen that?
No.
It's all about
it doesn't sound
all about statistics. That one.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like it'd be interesting, but it's basically like, because it's baseball, and like the guy's a general manager, basically. Brad Pitt's general manager, and like he's got a pretty average team with a low budget, and it's about like getting them to the top. And he brings in this guy who's like basically a data guy. He's like a analyst, and he throws out all the egos, everything like that, and just goes for like, you know, who statistically will help the team do better. It's the little things like they'll sign a player who can. I mean, I'm not going to get technical about baseball, but like, yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, if we can think, right, okay, baseball, you got to go around for his 4 bases to do a home run. Yeah. This guy's never hit a home run, but like he gets to first base like 98% of the time.
Yeah,
you know, he'll hit the ball, he'll get there. So he's like a real budget player, but like, because he can get to first base every time, it gives the next guy like the opportunity or whatever, and like that's a good film. Cool Runnings, man. I've watched like Cool Runnings is the one. Yeah. Mate, I used to be able to recite that film like pretty much word for word. Like,
how many times have you watched it? When you say
over 100? Yeah, over 100. Yeah, it's probably one of the first VHSs I ever had. It was Cool Runnings. I remember, watch it. Yeah, I've watched that film more than any other film.
Who's your favourite character in it?
You love the dreadlock guy. That's the
Do you like him?
Nah, mate, I don't know. Like, it's got to be Sanka, you mean?
Which one?
Sanka, the dreadlock guy with the Kiss the Lucky Eggs, yeah. I mean, you got Derice, he's got a good soul, good heart, but he's a little bit Captain America. He's a bit too straight and narrow. You got Yul Brynner, who's like a big hard man, but he's got a gentle soul. You know, he's hard exterior, but gentle on the inside. He's kind of like me. He looks hard as fuck, but
just keep the sky north.
He's a nice guy deep down. He looks intimidating. You've got
who's the fourth man?
The fourth man is the rich boy, isn't he? And again, he's, you know, because he comes from a good background. You know, his dad's very high up in you know, Kingston, you know, the political game, and he's but people judge him because he's come from a good background and this that. But he's got a good soul.
What about the coach?
What's his name?
That's poor from you. You've watched it 100 times.
100 times.
Well, it's probably been 10 years since I last watched it. Probably longer. Yeah.
What about it was the German team? They would always go. The German team were the good team, weren't they?
Yeah, the Germans.
Yeah,
were the enemy.
Sure. Mate, Earth Blitzer, was it?
Earth
Blitzer.
Oh, what was the Derice, Sanka, and who's the fourth one, man? Who's the fourth one?
You should know this.
Sanka, Irving Blitzer, Yul Brynner, Derice Bannon, Junior.
Evan.
You like Joseph Gruel, didn't you?
Yeah,
from the Germans.
He was evil. Yeah, we didn't like those Germans in that film.
I'm just sure, is that Kirk Campbell? Is he?
It was a Swiss.
Stranger
Things? It was a Swiss, wasn't it?
The Swiss.
The Germans are in it, I think.
Yeah, the Swiss are the good ones, aren't they? But that's a film that takes you on an emotional journey.
Start off sprinters, you know, it doesn't work out for them.
Yeah, start the film, you get the whole Jamaican vibe. There's, you know, the beauty of the island and everything. Like everyone's having a good time, you know. And then inevitably, it is a Disney film after all. They go through the dip and then they pull it back, and it's glory at the end. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. They don't win, do they? They fall over, don't they? But they're courageous.
They finish the race. There's a lot of life lessons to be learned.
On their shoulder, didn't they?
And
they walked over the line.
Yeah, I reckon my character's been built on Cool. Get quicker and quicker and quicker. I reckon my whole character's been built on Cool Runnings.
Really?
Yeah. I've taken a bit from each of the 4 sledges.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
So Cool Runnings is your favourite, basically.
You could say that.
Yeah. Go on, Lou, what would you put down as your favourite?
Sports film?
Yeah. Would you actually say Semi-Pro is your favourite?
I do like
it. It's funny.
It's funny.
You must have watched that recently because I mentioned it to you.
Yeah, I watched it when I went to Rome, I think. I watched it on the plane. Yeah. It was good.
Space Jam.
Nah, I can't think of any. Mate, stuff like Rocky's good, isn't it? Like, that's obvious, isn't it? Say up Rocky. That's pretty good.
Karate Kid.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched. Mate, half these films you've named, I haven't watched them.
Have you not?
No.
You're not filming at all?
Not really. I'd like to say I haven't got time, mate, but I just procrastinate at night for a couple of hours where I could have watched the film. I'm going to go home and watch Moneyball, Cool Runnings, and then Semi-Pro again, probably.
Yeah.
Semi-Pro is good. Yeah. Have you seen Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
That's good. Semi-Pro is better.
Yeah.
Probably answers the question.
Yeah, decent. I think we...
Shall we leave it there? We've got another one.
I'm pretty sure that is. We had a couple of joke questions. We had a nutrition one, which we kind of covered last week, so we're not going to answer that.
I should probably leave that there because I'm getting my haircut in 15 minutes. So I'll go get to the jewellery quarter.
Okay, happy.
You can carry on. Or I can go.
No, that's fine. Bit of a chew the fat, bit of a relaxed chat. Lovely.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it, guys, and we'll be back next week for some more. Thanks for tuning in.
Decent.